Welcome into the I-80 Boys College Football Podcast. Chris, we got a little Clemson versus Pitt preview, some ACC prime football right here for everybody this weekend. I'll start us off. I'll talk about Clemson. Look, Clemson this year, I think coming into this year, all we wanted to talk about was can their offense, really take those steps forward? And I think for the most part, they really have. I think defensively, they're still a sound football team. I think offensively, kind of like we talk about, they have taken steps forward. Klubnik has looked pretty good this year, I would say. 24 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. It's pretty damn good, I would say, compared to where they were at last year in this Garrett Riley-led offense. Phil Maffa has 981 yards, over 8 touchdowns already. So they are starting to establish themselves, I feel as if, on offense, which is good. They need that so we can get Clemson back to being relevant again, as they say, right? You look at what's led up to this point, right? Started the season off. They played Georgia great for about a half. Defensively, offensively, not so great, but we know Georgia has a good defense, so I'll give them a pass there. And then I would really say, they lost to Georgia to start the year off. Then you go back, they lose to Louisville a few weeks ago. Had a get-right moment last week against Virginia Tech, rose to the occasion, did what they needed to do, and now they've got this big matchup against Pitt. They're going on the road to play this game. It's an 11 o'clock kickoff. This game means a lot for both teams. I know Chris is going to talk about Pitt here in just a second. To me, where this game is going to be won and lost at, just in my opinion, is going to be, Clemson's defense going up against Pitt's offense. We know Clemson has, again, historically, that's been Dabo Swinney's sweet spot there at Clemson. Just aggressive, great defenses, especially when you talk about them playing in the ACC. They really dominate in that conference. This game is going to be for everything. I would say this game for me is more important to Clemson just because they're 6-1 overall in conference play, still alive for a shot, to go to the ACC championship game. They've got to have it right here. Chris, talk to me a little bit about Pitt.
Yeah, kind of similar situation here for Pittsburgh as well, too, right, Christian? They're 7-2. They're coming off back-to-back losses here, though. We've talked about Pitt a little bit on the show so far this season. They lost to SMU a couple weeks ago, and then they turned around, and I was actually shocked they got beat by Virginia this past weekend by 5 points. But offensively, they started off really hot as far as start to the season. Overall, they're averaging 36.7 points per game. That's 16th best in the nation. They're 36th in total offense, 73rd in rushing offense, and then 22nd in passing offense. Now, like I alluded to, they've kind of cooled down on offense the past couple of weeks. They only put up 19 points last week against a Virginia team, and I don't want to sit here and shit on Virginia, but they're not an elite level team. And Virginia, it was kind of funny. I dug into this a little bit. They were 99th in defense. Pitt only put up 19 points there. So, they're going to have to get their shit together for this game against Clemson. You talked about it. Clemson's got an elite level defense over there under Dabo Swinney. So, Eli Holston, quarterback, he's had a decent year so far this season with over 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. But he's also been sacked 20 times. So, Pitt's got to do a better job and keeping him upright in this one as well. Pitt has really struggled to run the ball lately as well. They only rushed the ball for 127 yards last week against a bad Virginia team, and they only rushed the ball for less than 100 yards against SMU the week prior. So they're going to have to try to establish some sort of running game against this Clemson defense. So as far as passing game goes, we know Holston, he can make plays back there. Clemson is top 50 against the rush and the pass this season, though. Like I said, we keep talking about it. Clemson's got a pretty damn good defense. Pitt's going to have to put up some points in this one. As far as Pittsburgh's defense goes, giving up 25 points per game, 62nd in total defense. They're 19th in rushing defense, which is pretty solid. But, man, it's the flip side here. They're god-awful against the pass. They rank 113th in the country and giving up over 250 yards per game through the air to opponents. Oddly enough, though, kind of like an Ole Miss defense in a weird way, they get to the quarterback here. Man, they got 31 sacks on the year. That's 5th best in the country. So if you can get some pressure on Klubnik, even though he's having a hell of a season this year, that might be the one angle here for the Pitt defense. As far as my prediction goes in this one, Christian, you said it best. Clemson's got a lot to play for here. With Miami getting beat, SMU having one loss, which is not even an ACC play, Clemson is still alive for an ACC berth here. I got Clemson by a couple touchdowns here, so give me Clemson 34, Pittsburgh 21.
Yeah, I've got Clemson 24, Pittsburgh 17.